Brilliance Audio presents the unabridged recording of Ominous by Lisa Jackson, Nancy Bush, and Rosalind Noonan. Performed by Hilary Huber. Part 1. 3 Girls, 15 years ago. Chapter 1. They came, as expected. But this time there were 3, not just 2. All young, on the brink of womanhood, all with nubile, firm bodies. All unaware that he was hidden deep in the umbra of the woods surrounding the lake. The back of his throat went dry, and he licked his lips in anticipation. As the tallest one began to strip in the moonlight, he felt his dick start to come alive, thickening beneath his jeans and hardening in anticipation, as if it had a life of its own. He skimmed his fingers down his zipper, feeling his boner, smiling before reaching for his belt, and silently drawing his bowie knife from its sheath. He traced the smooth steel of the slightly concave clip point with the tip of his finger, and imagined the weapon plunging deep between the breasts of the girls who had gathered on the shoreline. Underage, they were here despite their parents' warnings, because they were brazen and rebellious and not good girls. This, he knew, sensed. No, they were bad. He felt his juices flowing, that little zing that sizzled through his blood at the thought of what he would do. Ah, yes. But first things first, he had to wait until the precise moment. Parting the branches, he watched, his heartbeat accelerating, his breath coming in shorter gasps. Moonlight was a ribbon on the smooth, unbroken surface of the lake, and the wind rustled through summer-dry branches, the hoot of an owl breaking the stillness. Come on, he thought, his blood tingling. Take it off. He'd been to his share of strip clubs, first sneaking in when he was underage, then later, when there was no fear of being kicked out, sitting as near the stage as possible, watching the dancers carefully peel off their clothes in the most titillating manner. Over the years, he became less interested in what was obviously staged, a practiced tease to turn on the audience and draw money from the viewers' wallets. But this, 3 girls on a dock at a deserted Wyoming lake, this was different. More real, more raw. And the fact that these near women had no idea that he was observing them was the ultimate turn-on. He squinted, then lifted his night vision goggles to get a better view. The tall one striding out to the end of the dock was a blonde with an athletic build, and he knew why. Shiloh. She was the cowgirl, a tomboy, though built like a woman, her pale hair braided into a rope that hung halfway down her long back. The middle girl was shorter, but trim, a petite brunette, her father a cop. He smiled at that. Katrina, Patrick Starr's kid. She resembled her mother and was a feisty thing. He knew. He'd watched. The fact that she was a detective's daughter only made her all the more interesting, a taboo. But the third girl baffled him, and he didn't think he'd seen her before. Certainly she'd never come to swim nude with the others. He wouldn't have missed her. She was the smallest, petite. Her hair was probably some shade of red, he guessed, pinned into a topknot on her head. Despite her small frame, she had big tits. He couldn't wait until she yanked off that sleeveless blouse she was wearing and showed him off. Again his dick twitched. He wondered at the color of her nipples, pale and blushing, the kind that nearly blended into the surrounding soft tissue, or big dark discs with pointed little nubs that he'd love to suckle and nip. Now his damned heart-on was pulsing. But she was sitting on the edge of the dock now, hugging herself, hesitating. Come on now,